We've already announced today the launching of pre-orders in Germany. And for next year, we're preparing, of course, Germany, Norway, Denmark, and France.
We're launching another 3 cars in Europe, in Germany, Netherlands, Sweden, and also Denmark.
It's the UAW President Sean Fain calling those offers inadequate, saying that years of sharp inflation and fat corporate profits, as well as fat executive pay, just hasn't really done them any good.
Tesla's already undercutting these prices. Ford is losing almost 30,000 or more for every electric Mustang it sells loses more than a Mustang used to cost.
The valuation, like everyone's been saying for years, it just doesn't make sense as a car company. It has to be more.
All that and more, so let's get to it. Tesla stock, a roller coaster of emotion today, but mainly down. Tesla down about 1.5% today. For the week, however, up 8.5%. For the month, up 16.5%. Year to date, Tesla is still up a mighty 129%. But you guessed it, going back a whole year, Tesla is down almost a whole 10%. You would think Tesla would have a good day. At least I did. My options contracts went to shit. I thought Tesla might experience a little boon, if you will, but I guess the gains throughout the week had already priced in the UAW strike. No cheddar for this guy.
The auto industry is in transformation. I think almost a disruption.
Europe is our strategic market, and we want to communicate with the customer here.
It's natural that new players are going to come in.
We're just entering the European market. We're launching our first 2 countries this year.
Competition drives you. We come from sports, and at the end, to be better than the competition.
There's a high competitive situation. That's good news for the customer.
We've already announced today the launching of pre-orders in Germany. And for next year, we're preparing, of course, Germany, Norway, Denmark, and France.
We're launching another 3 cars in Europe, in Germany, Netherlands, Sweden, and also Denmark.
We need to have competitive conditions. So electricity costs are high, salaries are high in Germany.
Let's embrace them and let's try to have a fair and competition to build ever better products for our customers.
Yeah, that's happening, folks. European automakers may say they want the competition, but trust me, they don't want the smoke. But they have no one to blame but themselves, dragging their heels when it comes to the EV adoption, focusing on hybrids or slapping a battery up under an internal combustion engine vehicle and calling it good, thinking the consumer would just be happy with what they've got here. That's not gonna fly. Those legacy automakers over there in the EU are sweating bullets. And they're a little more prepared for this situation. What do you think the likes of Ford, GM, Stellantis are gonna do when these foreign EVs hit our shores here in the United States of America? Speaking of which...
But the United Auto Workers going on strike as UAW contract talks have fallen through. This, of course, coming against a backdrop of a historic bit of industrial action taking place against all 3 of Detroit's biggest car makers. This is, of course, the time when these labor contracts expired. A strike coming as the union and the big 3, General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis, remain far apart on wages. The latest offer from Ford was of a 20% increase. We've got UAW wanting 36% here. They're also far apart on benefits and worker schedules, and we've had weeks and weeks of acrimony between the 2 sides. And indeed, car makers did boost that to offer to between 17.5% and 20%, which would be a pay rise which should take place over the period of 4.5 years. The UAW President Sean Fain calling those offers inadequate, saying that years of sharp inflation and fat corporate profits, as well as fat executive pay, just hasn't really done them any good.
Oh, this just in? We've got word from Tesla's UAW rep. Oh, well, patch him in. No comment? No comment? Okay, got it. No comment.
Is Mr. Ives himself, and you're a tech guy, you're not some UAW union specialist, but I think your point is well taken. Tesla's already undercutting these prices. Ford is losing almost 30,000 or more for every electric Mustang it sells loses more than a Mustang used to cost about a decade ago. And now we're looking at costs going up. This has just got to be falling right into Tesla's lap?
Look, it's an epic disaster for Detroit in terms of everything we're seeing. And when you look at for Tesla, this is a game of high stakes poker, and Musk and Tesla are the winners. Because on two ways. One, even when they eventually get to a deal and those are passed through, GM Ford, we're talking $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 more per vehicle that the consumer is going to have to pay, which is a positive for Tesla from a competitive standpoint. And then when you look here, if this lasts 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, I mean, this could disrupt the EV plans of the 313 area code throughout all 2024. That's a huge win for Tesla. Look, Brian.
What about Rivian?
I think Rivian, and we've talked about that one, I think they're another winner here because think about what was the biggest competition. It's Ford and Farley. And you look at what's happening with Rivian here, they're not going to be inhibited in terms of from a union perspective. So right now, the Detroit 3, they got one hand tied behind their back. And ultimately, it's really Tesla and Rivian and some other automakers that are going to win. But I think right now, Musk and Tesla, they're watching this, drinking champagne, because they know that they are going to be the big winner.
So Tesla already knows they've won. There's no way any of the Detroit 3 could catch up to Tesla when it comes to battery electric vehicles. None of those companies need any extra hiccups. It's going to be hard enough to do it if everything goes smoothly. The UAW will probably threaten to expand the strike even further just to show that they mean business. Could they do a larger strike, meaning more factories, more employees, for longer? I don't know how deep their coffers run. They need to be focusing on how to get their production lines for the battery electric vehicles absolutely right. And this is only a distraction.
Are going to be the big winner.
So there's no part of the supply chain that would impact Tesla. They're completely their own beast when it comes to car making.
They're literally, in this situation, unaffected. And I think it just goes back to, despite all the controversies as they built it out in a non-union situation, this is the case study in terms of for them.
Could there be a brake line? I'm not asking you to say yes or no because there's so many parts. There'd be a brake line or a wheel hub. You know what I mean? Something that could...
Not a damn thing! Tesla is so vertically integrated with their own parts and suppliers. This UAW strike has no impact on Tesla whatsoever. How hard is that to believe? Now, there is a point that someone mentioned to me earlier that this might actually galvanize what it is to be a worker in the United States of America. Maybe, just maybe, Tesla's workers decide to unionize. Not that guy, not that guy. But there might be some merit to that. I'd be shocked to see this strike go into Halloween, let alone go into Thanksgiving holidays or even over Christmas break. That would be a catastrophe for all players involved.
I don't know.
Sure.
You know what I'm getting at.
I think if you game it out in terms of this game of poker, maybe down the line, 6-9 months from now, could there be a union force that ultimately tries to ultimately push Tesla? But I just believe that's an Everest-like uphill battle. And I think the shame of the situation is bar GM, they've laid it out. They've done a phenomenal job to get to this point. And now it's really a backbreaker what's happened with the UAW. Midnight's going to strike, but there's no glass slipper.
Much like Tesla's Cybertruck, I do believe the company is bulletproof. But that's indicative to how they've decided to conduct their business way back when at the birth of the company. This is further proof that Tesla isn't just a car company.
Let's bring in Joe Teagate, portfolio manager of the Rational Equity Armor Fund. So, all right, believer in the big AI breakthroughs or not of Tesla. Right now, the stock has just been pretty wild, regardless. So, how do you kind of interpret some of the recent moves, Joe?
Yeah, the valuation, like everyone's been saying for years, it just doesn't make sense as a car company. It has to be more. That's been the case for a long time. Now, you go back to 2021, Tesla was $414 at the end of the year. And there was lots of possibilities out there. People weren't really sure what they were banking on. Tesla's, innovating in a lot of different ways. There's maybe the home appliance type of battery thing that they got going. There's a whole other skew of different, slate of different things they're doing in R&D. It just so happens that this new supercomputer people are pointing to now and saying, whoa, this could be a big thing in the world of AI. This could bring in a revenue stream like AWS for Amazon. And now people are looking at it again. Oh, maybe this is a tech company, not a car company. And even as a tech company, the valuation is still really high. Just put that caveat out there. But if people were paying $414 in December of 2021, I think it makes sense that people will look at that level again if this supercomputer is what they say. If people are saying, hey, they're going to have new revenue streams down the line, I want to get in before this really blows up to what it can really be.
What could it really be? In my opinion, Tesla's dirt cheap right now. In conclusion, while Ford, GM, and Stellantis face off against enemies that are domestic, the EU is faced with enemies that are of a foreign nature. And while they embrace competition, you can be sure that's exactly what they're gonna get. And it won't be long now when those foreign enemies decide to encroach upon US roads. The Detroit 3 better figure this UAW situation out before they're having to fight a battle on two fronts. That's all I got for you today. Be easy. Peace.